Kaisa, if you want to play AP Kaisa, but on Frank Esports, we have both of them. So this is an interesting composition, but at 3 items, this is very impressive composition from just those 2 champions, just because of how much range and poke that they have against a very all-in composition on the side of MFT. So if they don't find the all-in, again, it's not very interactive gameplay coming in from the Corki and the Kaisa.
It could definitely be the case here as we go into the level 1s. Halo Blades being selected by Eminem. They will start off with a bot lane check. Nothing going on here. In the meantime, MFT, just another reminder, they are standing on the precipice. If they drop this game, they will be out of the postseason. So we tend to see teams go for a little bit more cheese in this situation, but they will keep this one relatively safe. Double wards on both sides to make sure Wen gets a good early game. Meanwhile, top lane, Taco finally gets his Tryndamere first time in this series. He's going to get a bone plating right off the bat. Pretty nicely done for him. And can he find this auto attack? We'll get it, but actually loses out on the trade there.
Yeah, with the fleet footwork coming in from the Gnar, that helps out in these trades quite a bit. Although he's still wanting more. I'm not sure if that should be the case, but down in his bottom side, also more trades. As Renhao, I mean, as the set, you're just looking for an early opportunity to just flash in on the AD carry and try and force a summoner trade here, especially with the Ignite. And you are running not the longsword start.
Oh, here we go. The Facebreaker goes down onto Eminem. The flash is down as well. Ignite being spended to force that one. And just as you said, this is the start of what could be a very painful lane for Eminem. I do want to ask you about, like, do you think Kai'Sa's actually has that high of a priority in this patch? It doesn't seem like a lot of our players are deciding to go for blind Kaisa, especially with so many options up.
Yeah, in my opinion, like, the only purpose of picking the Kaisa is to potentially flex it into the mid lane, but even mid lane Kaisa isn't all that good anyways. So, like, my general read is that there's a reason why we never saw Kaisa for the longest time. It's because she really isn't that good, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, our AD carries are just all of a sudden picking up this champion, and I think it's even worse in the PCS, where we tend to fight a lot more early on, which is not where Kai'Sa's strong points are with the builds that players are going for, which are 3-item builds.
We do have a Hex Flash right on top of Holo, but he won't find the Facebreaker, and he's getting caught in a very bad position. Ignite goes down. That's going to be the first blood. Wen's here to kind of salvage the situation, but he will not be able to find any more. And Holo is going in for more. We do have K2 with the flash stun over the wall. 665 finds the smite, but can he keep himself alive? Wen will find a comeback kill, and 665 does flash out. Holo with the chase down will get the kill back. And overall, that will be a I think a 1-for-2 trade here. Let's see if Holo can find the Sky Splitter. Ooh, Wen keeps on running very intelligently. And yeah, Frank Esports have a massive lead at the start of this game.
2-for-1 trade.
Renhao might be baiting himself into a bad situation once more, as Holo did not leave the scene. That's the thing about Bears, if they start around. Yeah, he definitely does. And we're going to go into the replay, and unfortunately for Renhao, this first missed Facebreaker seals the deal for them.
Yeah, he whiffs big time there. And the one thing that's interesting is you're trying to invade with a Diana against a Valdebert. And more often than not, that shouldn't go well for you. I can understand why they went for a play, right? Because they had bot lane priority. They also have just a stronger bot lane in general. But the Volibear in these dueling situations is just so powerful, and Holo does a lot of work along with that Leona.
Yeah, there's so much hard crowd control, and it's not on a particularly long cooldown, so Frank Esports definitely had to chase down Edge right there, able to capitalize and taking stock of the items. We do have the Caulfield's Warhammer completed here by Eminem, and just a very smooth transition in for Pretender as well, into the call and the tier. So it does look like the scaling game that you mentioned earlier on is definitely being started here by Frank Esports, and it's always kind of scary when you have a smooth scaling game. If the scaling team wins early, then the game kind of feels over.
Yeah, at the very least, though, MFT do have some scaling options of their own. Obviously, it's very different sort of scaling, right? They have a lot of dive scaling with the power of Tryndamere and the Diana. If they're able to get onto these backline carries, they will absolutely devastate them. But it also works both ways, right? If the backline is able to stay alive, they will devastate the side of MFT.
Polo
now
seems
more
to
fighting.
Be the target here. 665 goes in. A fake Realm Warp, and they do find the jungle kill back. A straight 4v4 fight. They are winning here. Eminem has to run away. Pretender is driving away from the scene as well, and they leave their support to die. They do take down one Drake, but the cost might have been a little bit steeper than they wanted to pay.
Hey, and MFT, what do you know? Wen is there early. He's there for a fight at the start of the fight, and you can see when he does arrive, then they find success. And that ends up being a 2-for-none trade. Yes, Frank Esports are able to get the dragon, and that's, you know, sort of the main takeaway for them anyways, because on a scaling composition, the biggest thing you are worried about is what if they end up finding that quick 3 dragons and force you into that Dragon Soul fight when you're not ready or prepared for it. But they are able to, at the very least, secure this first dragon, and we'll see the replay. It's Hollow getting chunked out by Cloud, which does do a lot of damage, has the highest attack speed. And
this Realm Warp is so sweet.
yeah, you end up cutting off Frank Esports from their jungler with that Realm Warp. That then you're able to just collapse onto Hollow, and Hollow, I think he also understood that he was going to die there, so he ends up going deeper to try and create a little bit more space, and hopefully the rest of the team able to get out.
Really nicely played by Wen, and I feel he has so much more impact on this Rise compared to other champions. Great call by Nightstar here on just having him pick this mid laner a little bit earlier. Meantime, taking a look at the situation, we do have Pretender being forced into a rather early Hex Drinker here, a bit more defenses than he perhaps would want to. Renhao being caught in a bit of a pickle, has to burn the W early, flashes over the wall, does have the flex flash, and oh, here comes the Stormbringer, massive amounts of damage. Well, going to use the Feather Storm, but he doesn't get to use the Blade Collar as he gets taken out. In the meantime, 665 will get a Herald for his troubles, but what a clean pickup for Frank.
Yeah, I mean, that was also a level 6 Volibear, right? So, not much MFT's bot lane could have done in that situation. Now 665, like, Kurt, he has to crash this wave to kill as many minions as possible.
665 incoming. The Undying Rage is popped right here. Let's see, can Taco survive this tower shot? Oh, falls down in the end. Kurt does find the 1-for-1 trade, but this should be the top tower going down.
Honestly, really the best result Kurt could have asked for. He burns his flash, yes, but Taco burns both of his summoners, and he also burns the Diana flash, which is probably her biggest team fight tool, as we get to see the replay on what transpired in that bot half of the map. Renhao forced to use the Facebreaker very early on, means that he doesn't have the extra durability for the rest of this dive, and Whale does go down because there's just not a lot of playability against a level 6 Volibear that just turns off your tower.
Yeah, very interesting trade by Whale. He actually flashes forward to try and find the trade on Eminem. It doesn't end up working for him. It's probably a dead man either way. So, you know, good attempt, I would say. And in the meantime, I feel like this game state is super interesting because I feel like both teams have actually gotten what they wanted. The scaling portions are doing fine, but in the meantime, MFT are packing a lot of damage. Here comes 665, already 4 takedowns, but he misses the Q. Can he get the combo in? Undying Rage not there for the Tryndamere. 665 has to run away with his tail between his legs, and Frank Esports are looking for a second kill, but 665 is dancing around. He gets 1 kill. Oh, no. Can he find the other one? Oh no! Polo is able to secure the kill at the very end, but that was so damn close. 665, his Moonfall was still there. We do have another fight in the bottom lane here as well. K2 looking for the kill. Whale has to jump up into the air. Suplex goes down onto him, and Frank, they will lose the first member, but it will be the 80 carry that stays alive on the side for Eminem. Can Renhao chase him down for more? His Facebreaker is about to be up. He gets the pull, but there's still another cleanse. W goes down. One more auto attack. He can't find it, and the W takes it down. Eminem with the double kill. He's now 4-0-0.
Oh, baby. Eminem with the smooth moves. Renhao taking the tower shot at the end, but when he wants this final kill, he wants that shutdown.
Can Eminem find a potential execution? Oh, he gets tagged in the cubby. Well, he is a goner. That's 700 gold over towards Wen's side. But Frank are going to make them pay. Holo comes in. The big magic. Moonfall onto 2. Doesn't matter. He dies before the damage even comes through. Whale will try to salvage the situation. Pretender flashes out. And that will be all for now. Frank Esports managed to claw back another kill for their dead Eddie carry.
But that's a big shutdown going into the hands of Wen, and Wen, he has been given a big opportunity to carry the game. He is 3-0 and on his trademark Rise pick. He's going to have the ability to carry this game now, especially with that extra shutdown gold. A lot of acceleration in his build path. He has now the Everfrost completed, 665. We get to see how this ends up transpiring, and I mean, he jumps in onto the crab, and that's when Hollow says, okay, you're all mine, and there's a package coming in behind, and that makes for easy collapse. So I love, I mean, overall, I enjoy quirky pickups, even though it has been nerfed. The package is just still so powerful.
Yeah, you can coordinate those cross-map chase downs so easily with this champion, and it definitely caught 665 off guard here. I think we're holistically looking at the game so far. MFT still have so much unlocked potential as we have another fight starting on here. But Eminem can join from almost any angle as he does find the Void Seeker. He has to fly right in top of Whale, though, and Whale punishes him big time. Wen also closes off the trap, and that's just 3 people into the maw of MFT.
I don't know what happened.
You are at a loss for words.
What?
They just overchased.
That was really, really bad. And this is not what AP Kaisa is good at. This is also a Kaisa that didn't have the Q evolution as well. So no bonus execute damage coming in from the Q. And K2, he goes in wanting to make the play, but Eminem, he ults right in the middle of everyone. So even if they aren't targeting the Kaisa, he just still gets hit by all the AoE damage anyway, so he just gets blasted out of existence.
Taco with a very, very short E is still able to walk out of that with his ghost, but gotta say that was kind of funny watching that transpire. Totally agree with you on that fight. That was a bit lackluster from Frank Esports. First off, Eminem flies over on the angle right in front of a Featherstorm and Moonfall. Like, that's not where you want to be if you're an AD carry. And I also feel like they had really unrealistic expectations of Pretender. Like, they wanted Pretender to join and somehow walk past when he's 4-0-2. And I was like, yeah, that's not happening.
Absolutely. And Now this is going to be tricky coming in from the side of Frank Esports, because now you're very much loaded on magic damage. Corki, Volibear, Leona, and the Kaisa are very heavy magic damage focus, especially with this Kaisa build. That if you look in the inventory of this Rise, he already has that Megatron cloak, so this Rise isn't going to be taking out a whole lot of damage. When he gets that Force of Nature, it's going to be so difficult to take this champion down. And then you also look at Whale. He is going for the crit build rather than the lethality build. So there's so much scaling power already on MFT that is online.
This is getting super hairy for Frank Esports. The first time we've seen MFT ever surge to a 3,000 gold lead in the entire series. So MFT have to be feeling pretty good about this one. And for Frank Esports, I think you mentioned it, this is still not their time. They need to wait even longer. The Mura Manas are not online, and MFT get to do whatever they want, especially with this extra Herald here on the map. When do you see Frank Esports being able to strike back? It looks like they're very far away from that point.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to say. They can play off of the combination of Meganar and the package, but that also needs them to line up the timings just right. And if they do play around the package, that could be a big opportunity, right? Because that also provides the extra CC to make things easier for the Kaisa to shoot on into the back line. But just comes down to trying to slow the game down just a little bit. But the issue is when you slow the game down, you also allow this Tryndamere to really warp the side lanes. And because Wen is super far ahead as well, he's just a massive threat in the side lane as well. So right now, the 1-3-1 is going to stretch Frank Esports pretty thin. And while Kaisa has the potential to follow up on sort of these side lane setups, again, you're not AD Kaisa.
It's gonna go for the AP builds here as well, and we do have the Fimbulwinter done already here from Wen. Most likely headed toward the Force of Nature, as you were mentioning. This is such a different game. They have the 1-3-1 comp on the side for MFT. They also have the Wombo combo from their I think the most familiar comp that they've executed so far this season. And for Frank Esports, they're just waiting to scale. Like, I'll be honest, I've seen some pretty crazy stuff come from the Corki. So I'm not losing hope completely that this could still be a 3-0. But, man, I feel like the timers just have to be adjusted. This is going to be more of a 35-minute game if Frank wants to have any chance. Taco will walk into a stun, a Corki, an M&M, and a K2. I think he's a dead man. It's just about how much else Meta Falcon team can get on the other side of the map. Looks like they will be able to take down at least one tower for it. But in the meantime, Frank, this is a great play for them. And it looks like a 1-for-1 trade in terms of towers, and also an extra kill here. MFT have to take more if they want to equalize.
Yeah, they could get the inhib here, and
here comes the
they want the fight.
Fall. Actually, to fight, fake out. They get Kurt, and they're going in for more. But Renhao is being left to his own devices right here. It seems like he might have overstepped, but he will flash out.
Oh, okay. Able to actually survive that. That's massive for MFT. So it ends up just being a one. Was that a 1-for-1 trade? Because Taco ended up dying on the side. So it ends up being 1-for-1, and they get Dragon, but they also get the additional tower. So all in all, MFT able to find momentum here in game number 3. It's not too late because the series is still going on, and at the very least, they have shown up.
That was absolutely huge for them. They equalize the trades, and they also get the Drake stack, which means that Frank Esports, they're not going to be given a chance to play a 35-minute game. This is 30-minute do or die. You have to answer the Ocean Soul, and Ocean Soul is actually very strong in a 1-3-1 composition as well. So I think that was, you know, a massive play. And I also have to commend, again, just kind of the surprise factor using the Realm Warp as a fake out. It's like, oh, we're going out. Nah, never mind. Actually Moonfall straight onto your face.
I think that was also a little bit unscripted because it didn't look like the rest of the team was quite ready to follow up. But
That's
when
true.
665 gets that Diana pick, like, it just gives him so much flexibility. He can kind of dictate his own plays and still buy time because he has the Rocket Belt and the Zanya's Hourglass. So he's able to make plays, but also buy time for his team to then respond.
Nice.
Definitely has been the case so far. He's able to just go in, stay alive for a long time. Probably chase away the backline, as you mentioned. Now Frank Esports, they are running out of towers to clean onto. MFT also know K2's positioning, so they could just swoop in here against Holo. They're setting up the trap. Here comes the Realm Warp. Here comes Taco with the poultry shout. 665 goes in, finds the Moonfall onto Eminem, but he dies first. He does complete the trade in the end. But they are losing members. Most crucially, the jungler is gone, so Baron's not going to get taken right here. Frank, hold on, and they're looking for more. They find Wen too, and this is disaster for MFT. They're losing their edge. Renhao goes down, and Frank Esports even down 5,000 gold. They find the comeback.
And it comes from that item spike. Yes, it was a bit of a positional blunder coming in from MFT, but you look at their carries, they are somewhat online. They have both the Ludens and the Muramana completed now. We'll go and see the replay. And I mean, this Realm Warp, they want to try and collapse onto Eminem, but then they stick themselves in this choke point. 665 gets bursted immediately. I don't think he wasn't even able to use the stopwatch or the hourglass in that situation, and now all of a sudden they're just missing their main damage source. So the rest of these kills, just extra gold on top for Frank Esports, and it's a double kill for this Gnar. And the game plan should have been just for this series, bully Kurt over and over again. But so far, Kurt has really stood tall in this series.
Yeah, that was amazing cutting coming in from Frank Esports. I thought the collapse was great from Meta Falcon team, but they forgot about Corki. Corki's starting to come online. They didn't find the damage to go through Holo. Pretender gets to stay safe the entire fight. And if he's raining rocket barrages on you for, I think even just giving him like 8 seconds, your team is just going to evaporate. So MFT, they have to learn their lesson in that one. They have to find those decisive fights onto the backline. They can't just over chase in that situation. And I don't know. I feel like maybe Frank Esports has been able to stem the tide here. Unless MFT find Baron pretty soon, I feel like Frank Esports are going to be able to weather this.
Right now, they are sitting in a very comfortable position. And Eminem has the evolutions online here. Renhao clearing out some wards. The only evolution missing still is that extra attack speed, and because he has gone for the sword boots, it's going to take him a lot longer to get that online. And we'll even see if he goes for that, or if he just goes for the full siege build, because it does look like it will be difficult for him to weave auto attacks into that composition of MFT. So the poke build might be more effective in this case.
I do think that is the correct path here. MFT, they still have a sizable lead in the gold. They can still go for the Drake stacking strategy, and they do also have vision control. So they're not in a bad spot, but they're definitely rattled. We'll see how they take this one. I think both teams don't want to give up on these objectives. We also have the package from Pretender, so he has that extra dash to get away from people, to sever the team fight. And here we have MFT actually starting out on the Baron. They're trying to trade these objectives away, but this is right in front of Holo. He still has his Stormbringer here. It's going to be a 50-50 on the Baron, traded away for nothing, and MFT back out. They lose the stare down, and they're also going to lose even more gold on these towers. They have to go in. Pretender already used his package. Taco coming in for the collapse. Can 665 find the angle? He gets slowed down by Leona, and Frank aren't able to walk away from this. Taco even has to burn his Gale Force just to get away. So Frank, they come up huge on all sides.
Yeah, and they should be able to burn this mid lane tower down as well. Or at least it should, unless if MFT, they want to stick around. Okay, it does look like they will be able to deter Frank Esports from forcing the issue any further. But Frank Esports, I mean, they are hitting their sweet spots when it comes to the items at this point in time. And yes, you do have the crit Zaya coming online, which is incredibly powerful as well. And Taco, he's starting to get to that breakpoint as well once he gets to a third item. But I mean, like Renhao, this is a very fake set. His itemization is very, very poor, has a lot of armor against pretty much a full AP composition. He's not going to last very long in these fights.
Yeah, and Taco might be facing the same situation here as Kurt does have him out-leveled. MFT has this fixation on this Baron, but this time around, Holo is nowhere near the scene. Frank Esports, though, will pop 2 ultimates. K2 unfortunately misses most of his engage, but they find the poke on the backline out of nowhere. They take Whale down. Double sums up, and he still dies. Frank have found the turning
they can't get
point.
Through the choke.
They're taking down the Baron. They had the wards down. 665. He's trying to find the angle, but he can't get it. Trindamir's also not joining. Frank Esports, they found the critical point in the game. They have that poke online, and they can rain down hell on you from so far away.
Yeah, and I mean, Renhao, he can't ever play the game. He can't approach in these fights because, again, his itemization is really, really poor. He doesn't have any magical resistance to endure any of this poke. So if one Void Missile or one Corki Missile lands onto him, that's pretty much half of the HP gone. With the Ludens, with also the Void Staff completed, there's just so much burst damage coming in from just one of these poke tools. As we get to see the replay, okay, Taco just beats down on a Meganar, and right when we pan back, it's just a Void Seeker landing onto a Whale. It's just unplayable at this choke point. With Corki marking that choke point, you can't ever get through.
So I do want to ask you, do you think MFT made the right decision in trading potential Baron for Drake? I just can't help but feel like when you're up 3,000 gold, you have this comp, you have full vision control, you should not be going for the secondary objective. You should, just make your stamp on the game.
Yeah, and now Taco,
Taco here, though. He wants to go and find, but he doesn't get the Undying Rage, and he just dies. That pretty much means the flank is going to collapse. Eminem is completely untouched here. He will just take down the aggressors, and Frank Esports beat back this engage with ease. Whale has nowhere to go. The tower is not there to help him. Holo coming in. That's the double kill.
I think
Frank
that's
Esports get the ace, and they will move on. Nothing here to stop them from just taking the win anymore.
Yeah, it takes a while to take that first tower down because of the extra resistances of the minion being out of range, but now with the extra Baron minions coming in, that should be it. Frank Esports secure themselves a very, very convincing 3-0. And MFT, the respawns, maybe they get one last fight.
Renhao goes in, but he doesn't find a stun onto anyone. Taco trying to get Pretender. He does have the Undying Range. One more out of the attack, and he does do it. 665! He's up now. Wen is here too. The game might not be ending right here. It's a 2v4, now a 4v3 as Will comes back in. Kurt finds the knockup back onto only one person, but he does walk out still
Such low
alive
health
here.
bars.
If Eminem finds the poke, though, things could change. MFT will escort Frank Esports away, and they will hold on for now.
Oh, the game still goes on, Clement, but whew, could just be the final gasp. As we will see the replay, the flank coming in from Taco. He tries to collapse onto this backline, which is very squishy, but no magic resistance, which means you eat 2 instances of poke and you're dead. Renhao, I mean, the rest of this fight is just a formality, right? Because they are just so split, and you have a crit Zaya. If you're not playing around crit Zaya, she doesn't get to do a whole lot. And yeah. We saw right there.
A little bit tragic for the Tryndamere. Oh, I think we underestimated how quickly Frank Esports could actually get this competition online. Just so much damage pouring out here. That was one cannon barrage taking 60% of the HP off of Taco there, and this might be Frank's final push in this series. They're heading into the base. MFT, they're looking for an engage, maybe a chance to pick someone off before the others can congregate. They're not going to be given that chance, and now they have to defend a naked Nexus with hell raining down upon them. Pretender, with his range and his damage, is just forcing Whale away from the minion wave. There goes K2665, taking down half HP. Renhao even lower. Here comes MFD, the Realm Warp in to find the kills, but they don't get
they find
Pretender.
Eminem.
They find Eminem, though. That's one down. Wen is still alive for now, but the stun does come down. He gets taken out. 665 running away from his life as well. And Whale, now the only one left with the damage to try and turn the ship. He does find one.
Nexus.
K2 misses the stun, and Pretender wants to go in for some extra kills. He picks up the triple and the 3-0 to close out the game for Frank Esports.
And this will be the 3-0 for sure here. Frank Esports will lock it down, let the minions do the rest of the work for them, and I mean, I was very, very shocked at how dominant this Frank Esports squad looked in this series. I predicted a 3-2, not because I didn't have confidence in Frank Esports to win this series, but rather they've been streaky during the split, and I think the extra 2 weeks certainly helped, but I didn't